action.
This is a global news update on top Accolade news. From power and politics to conflict and culture, tonight's headlines show the high stakes shaping our world, where leadership, accountability, and ambition collide. The headlines: Sri Lanka's former president arrested over misuse of state funds. Indonesia deputy manpower minister arrested in extortion probe. China slams US tariff on India. Kim Jong-Un hails North Korean troops returning from Russia's war in Ukraine. We'll start with a story of accountability in politics, as Sri Lanka's former president arrested over misuse of state funds. Sri Lanka's Criminal Investigation Department on Friday arrested ex-President Ranil Wickremesinghe over allegations he used public money for the 2023 London trip tied to his wife's graduation, despite his insistence that no state funds were misused. The CID claims state resources covered his travel and security, and he will face a Colombo magistrate. Wickremesinghe, who became president in 2022 at the height of Sri Lanka's economic collapse, now faces a personal reckoning that mirrors the nation's ongoing struggle with political accountability, proof that even those who rose to rescue a broken system can themselves be consumed by it. From South Asia to Southeast Asia, the theme of accountability in public office continues as Indonesia's deputy manpower minister arrested in extortion probe. Indonesian anti-graft investigators on Friday charged Deputy Manpower Minister Emmanuel Albanese with extortion, accusing him of illegally collecting up to 6 million rupiah per safety permit, far above the official 250,000 rupiah fee since 2019. 10 others, including ministry officials and training company employees, were also arrested, and evidence seized include cash, cars, and motorcycles. The case marks the first graft scandal implicating a member of President Subianto's cabinet, undermining his anti-corruption agenda. In a country where trust in public office is fragile, even ministers are not above the law. The sting reminds all that power is a privilege, not a shield. From domestic accountability in Indonesia to international economic tensions, Asia is witnessing both the enforcement of law at home and strategic maneuvering on the global trade stage as China slams US tariffs on India. Chinese ambassador on Thursday condemned Washington's steep tariff on Indian goods, branding the US a bully and calling for deeper cooperation between Asia's two largest economies. His remark comes as India faces US penalties over Russian oil imports, straining trade relations with Washington while thawing ties with Beijing after years of border tensions. The ambassador hailed India and China as double engines of Asian growth and pledged to back their heat at the WTO. In a shifting chessboard of global trade, Beijing is betting that America's squeeze may push India closer to its rival. Shifting from economic battlegrounds to military alliances, Kim Jong-un hails North Korean troops returning from Russia's war in Ukraine. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on Friday awarded medals to troops who fought alongside Russian forces in Ukraine's Kursk region, praising them as great heroes and patriots while consoling families of the fallen. State media reported this at the first time the regime formally decorated soldiers for overseas combat, with at least 600 killed and thousands wounded since deployment. The ceremony underscores Pyongyang's deepening military alliance with Moscow, an attempt to justify heavy losses. In glorifying sacrifices abroad, Kim signals that his soldiers' blood is now part of Russia's war narrative, a grim export of loyalty for survival. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Coming back to international relations, Philippines and Australia plan new defense pact. The Philippines and Australia announced on Friday plans to sign an enhanced defense cooperation agreement next year, aimed at increasing joint military drills, improving operational readiness, and developing defense infrastructure at 5 Philippine sites. The move comes amid rising tension in the South China Sea, where Chinese vessels have been active near the disputed Second Thomas Shoal, prompting condemnations from Manila. The pact reflects a strategic push to boost our regional deterrence and alliance cohesion. In a region where waters are contested and trust is scarce, this agreement signals that collaboration, not confrontation, will chart the course of Indo-Pacific security. From rising tension on the high seas to a humanitarian crisis on land, the world faces the dual threat of strategic conflict and man-made famine, with famine confirmed in Gaza. The United Nations-backed Integrated Food Security Phase Classification has confirmed famine in Gaza Governorate, the first ever in the Middle East, with projection it will spread to Khan Yunis within weeks, threatening over 500,000 people with starvation and pushing nearly 2 million more into emergency hunger. Acute malnutrition among children is doubling, and aid agencies stress that only a ceasefire and unrestricted humanitarian access can prevent mass death. This is not a natural disaster, but a human-engineered famine, proof that war has weaponized hunger itself. From the devastating human toll of war in Gaza to accountability in the arts, today's headline remind us that whether on the battlefield or on the red carpet, actions have consequences, as Noel Clarke loses libel case. British actor and filmmaker Noel Clarke on Friday lost his libel lawsuit against The Guardian after London's High Court ruled that accusations of sexual misconduct by around 20 women were substantially true and in the public interest. Clarke had sued the newspaper for reputational damage following reports of unwanted touching, bullying, and inappropriate behavior on sets between 2004 and 2019. The ruling confirms the credibility of the women's testimonies and reinforces accountability in the entertainment industry. In a world still grappling with Me Too revelations, the court's decision sends a clear message: fame does not place one above the law. From accountability in entertainment world to ambition on the football pitch, Nottingham Forest secure Olympic gold winner Douglas Luiz from Juventus. Nottingham Forest have secured Brazilian midfielder Douglas Luiz from Juventus on a season-long loan with a conditional obligation to make the move permanent next summer. The 27-year-old, an Olympic gold medalist with Brazil, spent just one season in Turin after a €50 million transfer from Aston Villa, making 27 appearances. Luiz expressed enthusiasm for joining Forest, citing the club's ambition as it aims to help the Premier League side build on last season's 7th place finish. For Forest, Luiz's arrival is more than a transfer. It is a statement of intent that ambition, not history, will define this season. From the corridors of power in Sri Lanka and Indonesia to the contested waters of the South China Sea, the fields of Gaza, and the stadiums of Europe, the stories tonight remind us that accountability, courage, and ambition intersect everywhere, from politics to sport. Because whether it is hunger, conflict, or opportunity, every choice leaves a mark, and the world is watching. I am Ojarumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day and keep watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News.